The American Academy of Pediatrics has called for a complete ban on one of the most popular baby products in America. Not a warning, a ban. And it's probably sitting in a garage or basement near you right now. I'm talking about baby walkers. But here's what's really wild. They're just one of 7 products that parents buy thinking they're helping, when they're actually creating delays that show up months or even years later. And number 5 on this list, it's marketed as a safety device. It's in 90% of nurseries, and pediatricians are begging parents to stop using it. By the end of this video, you'll look at your baby's nursery completely differently. Not because you're a bad parent, because nobody's telling you what these products actually do to developing bodies and brains. Let's start with the ones stealing your baby's movement. Number 1, baby walkers. Here's what the research actually shows about baby walkers, and this isn't debatable. A study of 190 infants found that babies who used walkers walked 3 to 4 weeks later than babies who didn't. They also scored measurably lower on developmental assessments at 10 and 14 months. But it gets worse. When a baby's in a walker, they're not learning to walk. They're learning a completely different movement pattern. They're pushing off with their toes and rolling. No balance required, no core strength needed, no problem solving about how to shift their weight without falling. And here's what parents don't realize. All that floor time, the struggling, the wobbling, the falling on their padded diaper and trying again, that's not frustration. That's their nervous system building the neural pathways for independent movement. Every time your baby catches themselves before falling, that's their cerebellum learning. Every time they pull up on the couch and their legs shake from the effort, that's muscle memory being encoded. But the walker skips all of it. Now add the safety issue. Walkers give babies mobility before they have judgment. Suddenly, your 8-month-old can reach the stairs, the stove, the table with the hot coffee. The AAP reviewed the data and said this product shouldn't exist. And yet, still sold in every major retailer, still given as gifts, still marketed to exhausted parents who just want 10 minutes of hands-free time. So, here's what actually works. Floor play. Hold their hands and let them walk with you. Get them a sturdy push toy that doesn't roll away easily. When they have to work to move. Your baby will walk when their body's ready, and they'll do it better without the walker. Number 2, Bumbo seats or early sit-up chairs. Quick question. How many of you have seen those molded foam seats that hold babies upright before they can sit independently? Now, here's the part nobody tells you. Sitting isn't something you teach. It's something that develops from the inside out. When babies spend time on their tummies, rolling, pushing up on their arms, they're building the deep core muscles that eventually make sitting possible. But when we prop them up artificially, we're putting pressure on a spine that isn't ready. We're skipping the muscle development that has to happen first. Think about it like this. Imagine someone locked you into a position you didn't have the strength to hold and walked away. That's what these seats do. The fix? Floor time. Let your baby figure out sitting the way nature designed. They'll push up from their tummy into side sitting first, then sit with their hands forward for support. Eventually, they'll sit independently because their body earned it. And that's when sitting becomes actually functional. But delaying your baby's physical milestones, that might not be the most damaging thing on this list, because the next 2 products interfere with something even more fundamental: how your baby's brain learns to think. Number 3, screens and educational baby videos. All right, deep breath because I'm about to talk about screens and I can already feel half of you getting defensive. Stay with me. Here's what the research shows, and I mean actual peer-reviewed studies, not opinions. For babies under 2, screens don't teach. They delay language and social development. But my baby loves watching videos, they're so focused. Exactly. That's the problem. Your baby's eyes track the bright colors, their attention is captured by the rapid movement. But that's not learning, that's just hijacked attention. And here's the crucial difference. Babies learn language from back and forth human interaction. They need to babble and have you respond. They need to point at something and hear you name it. They need to watch your face change expression when you talk. Videos can't do that. Even interactive videos can't respond to your specific baby's specific sounds in real time. But there's something else happening. That rapid-fire stimulation, the quick cuts, the flashing colors, the constant sensory input, makes real life seem boring by comparison. Real conversations are slower, real play is quieter, and babies can start craving that intense stimulation, which makes it harder for them to engage with the patient, responsive interactions their brain actually needs. Now, I'm not saying your baby's ruined if they've seen a screen, but here's what I am saying. Every minute in front of a screen is a minute not spent in the kind of interaction that actually builds language. A baby who watches 2 hours of educational videos a day will hear thousands of words. But a baby who spends that same 2 hours with a responsive caregiver, being talked to, sung to, read to, will not only hear more words, they'll hear them in context with emotional tone, with facial expressions, with back and forth rhythm. That's where language lives, not in videos. So what do you do when you need a break? Because you're human and sometimes you need 10 minutes to make dinner without a baby on your hip. A safe play space, where your baby can explore toys independently. Even if they're fussing, they're learning to entertain themselves. They're developing attention span. They're using their imagination. Better yet, talk to them while you cook. Narrate what you're doing. I'm cutting the carrots now. Hear that crunching sound? Now the carrots are going in the pot. It feels silly. It's actually language gold. Number 4, overly noisy and flashing toys. Speaking of hijacked attention, let's talk about the toys that light up, play music, and basically perform for your child. These toys don't nurture curiosity, they demand it. Watch what happens when a child plays with a toy that does everything. The toy makes the noise, the toy performs the action, the toy dictates the play. Your child becomes an audience member, not a creator. Now watch what happens with simple toys. Blocks, a wooden spoon on a pot, a cardboard box. Suddenly, your child has to imagine what it becomes. They create the storyline. They figure out how pieces fit together. That's where executive function develops. That's where creativity is born. That's problem solving in real time. Plus, and this matters, simple toys are naturally calming. There's no competing for attention. Play becomes focused and intentional. I'm not saying throw out every electronic toy, but notice what your child gravitates toward when given a choice. You might be surprised to find that the $50 light-up toy sits in the corner while they spend an hour with the box it came in. That's not a failure of the toy. That's your child's brain craving the open-ended play it needs. Now, everything we've covered so far affects your baby's development over months and years. But this next category, parents need to know about this today, because unlike the other products, these can be dangerous right now. Number 5, infant sleep positioners and cushioned sleep pods. Okay, we need to pause here because I'm about to tell you about a product that health organizations have issued urgent warnings about. And yet, I guarantee you've seen it recommended in parenting groups this week. Infant sleep positioners, cushioned sleep pods, those cozy-looking nests that promise better sleep and reduced reflux. This is the one product on this list that genuinely scares me. Not frustrates me, not concerns me, scares me. The American Academy of Pediatrics is crystal clear. Babies should sleep on a firm, flat surface with nothing else in the crib. Not soft cushions, not positioning devices, nothing. And there are 2 reasons. First, the immediate safety risk. Soft surfaces restrict natural movement and increase suffocation risk. Even if your baby seems comfortable, these products create dangerous situations. But here's what's talked about less: the developmental impact. When babies sleep on firm, flat surfaces, they naturally move during sleep. They turn their heads, shift their weight, adjust position. Those small movements strengthen muscles and develop motor skills. Cushion pods restrict all of that. There's also a sensory component. A bare crib allows your baby to see their environment, track light and shadows, hear sounds clearly. It's gently stimulating. Cushion pods create a visually monotonous enclosed space that reduces sensory input. But what about flat spots on their head? That's a valid concern. The solution isn't a sleep positioner. It's more tummy time when awake, varying the direction they face in the crib, and holding them more. Bottom line, a firm, bare crib is a safe crib. Use a fitted sheet, a wearable blanket for warmth, and nothing else. I know it looks stark, but it's what keeps your baby safest. Now, let's talk about devices that rock or vibrate to soothe your baby. And look, I understand when you're holding a crying baby for the 3rd hour straight, a swing that can take over feels like an answered prayer. These products promise relief, but here's what we trade away: attunement. Attunement is when you learn your baby's rhythms, when you can tell their hungry cry from their tired cry, when you figure out that your baby calms with a specific swaying motion or a particular humming sound you make. That learning goes both ways. Your baby is learning your rhythm too, how you hold them, your scent, your heartbeat. That's how secure attachment forms. When a machine does the soothing, that reciprocal learning doesn't happen. Babies become dependent on mechanical motion. They need the swing to sleep. They can't settle without the vibration. Here's the thing about human soothing. It's irregular. Your breathing changes. Your swaying isn't perfectly rhythmic. And that variability helps babies learn to regulate their own systems. They're not maintained at a constant state. They're learning to modulate between states. Now, if you're using a swing for a 5-minute break to use the bathroom, reasonable. But if the swing becomes the primary way your baby falls asleep, we're creating a dependency that makes everything harder long-term. The alternative, baby wearing, gentle rocking in your arms, skin-to-skin contact, consistent bedtime routines, more work up front, but it builds something lasting. A baby who feels secure with you and develops their own capacity for self-soothing. Your presence, your patience, your willingness to let development unfold at its own pace, that's more powerful than anything money can buy. We've covered movement, brain development, and sleep. But there's one last product category that touches all three, and it's sitting in your diaper bag right now. Number 7, food pouches and delayed self-feeding tools. Food pouches are everywhere. No mess, no prep, perfectly portioned, easy to travel with. And for occasional use, they're fine. But here's the issue. When pouches become the primary way a child eats, we rob them of crucial developmental experiences. Let me paint a picture of what your baby is supposed to be learning during mealtimes. They're learning to use their hands to pick up different textures, the force needed to grasp a slippery banana versus a firm cracker. They're developing fine motor skills by bringing food to their mouth. They're strengthening oral muscles needed for chewing and eventually clear speech. They're also learning about food through all their senses. What does a blueberry feel like when you squeeze it? What does sweet potato smell like? What happens when I smash this avocado? But when everything comes from a pouch, that sensory exploration doesn't happen. Food becomes a uniform, smooth texture, requiring no chewing, no manipulation, no discovery. And there's something else. Self-feeding builds confidence. When your baby successfully gets a piece of food into their mouth, they light up with pride. I did this. I'm capable. Pouches keep children dependent. Even toddlers who could be using utensils stay on pouches because it's easier and cleaner. Now, before you start feeling guilty, I completely understand the appeal. Mess is exhausting. But here's what I want you to consider. That mess, it's learning. Those smashed peas on the high chair, that's your baby figuring out cause and effect. That banana in their hair, that's sensory exploration and fine motor practice. So start with finger foods they can grasp. Offer different textures.